So the big news was, at first, which really wasn't that big a news, but, never sue someone for putting out a herpes T-shirt of you, because then the headline is, Rapaport loses herpes lawsuit. I mean, herpes.
Yeah.
No one would even, no one would think this guy ever has herpes, but the herpes lawsuit.
I didn't know about the T-shirt until he lost the lawsuit.
Right. And I don't know whether he had herpes. They were fucking with him because he was fucking with them. But he decided he's going to sue. He lost the lawsuit. So that was it. So for some reason, again, I don't know if Michael will probably hear this at some point and call in. But at some point, it seems that Rapaport has a relationship with Kevin Durant, the basketball player.
All right.
Kevin Durant, as you know, plays for the Brooklyn. Is it the Brooklyn Nets? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I guess Rapaport goes to the games. He's a big basketball fan. Somehow he's become friendly with Kevin Durant, and they direct message each other.
Okay.
And now it seems to me, again, sorry, Michael, but it seems like he broke the bro code for sure. Rapaport was direct messaging with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant and Michael, you know how Michael goes back and forth with people, shitting on them, and they shit on him?
Right.
So the defamation suit stuff comes out. The shirt depicting Mike as a clown with a red mark on his chin. And then the Kevin Durant direct messages, Michael releases them publicly. A private conversation between him and Kevin Durant. And so here, I'll give you some examples. So Kevin Durant got into so much fucking trouble over this because he's in the NBA. And in the private messages, Kevin called Rapaport a cunt, a pasty cum-guzzling bitch. He also said Michael liked to cocksuck other men for attention.
Wow.
And that Michael's wife doesn't have respect for his bitch ass. He also challenged Rapaport to meet him in public to fight. But you know how Michael Rapaport
they
fights.
Have that,
yeah.
What do they call that?
Back and forth.
Shit talk.
Shit talking. They shit talk. So Rapaport published the direct messages. Now, these had evidently happened a few months ago, but for some reason, I guess with the herpes thing or whatever, I don't know if it set him off, but he decided to put these out. The Brooklyn Nets met with Durant over the language he used. Now he could also
and Durant never expected the public to ever see any of this.
He could also face further sanctions because the NBA has strong policies against the use of homophobic language.
Right.
Remember when Kobe was fined like $100,000 for calling a player the F word, referring to homosexuals? So on Friday, the NBA fined Durant $50,000. Now it cost him $50,000.
That's awful.
And I'll bet you Rapaport wasn't even offended by the homophobic stuff because Rapaport does all that shit all the time. He does it all the time. He says to Gary, I'm going to anally rape you and blah, 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 blah.
Howard,
but you
know what set him off?
What?
This is the whole core of the thing. Whatever that line was about your wife doesn't trust your wife doesn't respect your bitch ass. Michael's whole thing is like, he went after my wife. That was over the line. I was like,
that's not going after his wife.
But Michael always goes after your wife, Gary.
No, he actually is my wife. Well, yes, he doesn't. He only makes fun of my wife for the fact that she dates a monkey. So yes, he does go after.
Right. He does the same thing. So then I guess Michael started to feel bad because a lot of people started in with him saying, dude, you broke the bro code. The guy private messaged you. What are you releasing some guy's and you do the same shit. And I guess it got to him because he issued sort of an apology.
An apology? Get up off of 50K, dude.
Yeah.
Pay the fine.
Listen to this.
Yo, this situation with Durant has gotten out of hand. I feel bad about it. I feel bad about my involvement in the situation. I feel bad that it's gotten this far. I met him one time. It was cool, cordial. But I don't consider him a friend. The way he was talking to me is not like a person who was a friend. I don't speak to friends like that. I don't banter with friends telling them, yo, when I see you, I'm going to spit in your face. Ha, ha, ha. Oh, cool. When you spit in my face, I'm going to swish it around and spit in your face. That's not the way I banter. That's not the way I bullshit. That's not the way, that's not locker room talk. Those are threats. They were made over and over and over. It's been going on for months. And on Tuesday of this week, he caught me on a bad day. That being said, in my opinion, the whole situation got blown out of proportion. You live and learn. I know I have lived and learned from the situation. I've had to deal with ramifications that, I'll keep to myself. And I know he has. And, I feel bad about it, but it is what it is, and we have to move forward.
We have to move forward.
But, let's be fair. Michael does do all that shit talk. Here's a little
what's he
clip.
talking about? He doesn't banter like that.
Yeah, I'll give you some of the banter.
I don't consider him a friend. The way he was talking to me is not like a person who was a friend.
We gotta listen to this fucking yuck mouth, you dumb, filthy, disgusting, constipated, masturbating fucking gorilla. You fucking blistered fucking pig.
I don't speak to friends like that. I don't banter with friends telling them, yo, when I see you, I'm going to spit in your face.
And what happened today? I stuffed that fucking asshole. I opened that fucking balloon knot. That's me spitting on it. You fuck. I spit on your glasses. Now your glasses have spit on them. You fuck.
That's not the way I banter. That's not the way I bullshit. That's not the way, that's not locker room talk. Those are threats.
You don't want to fucking answer my fucking phone calls. I know where you live. Like when you're out walking your dog, I could walk my fucking dog in the same neighborhood. Ain't no fucking rules against that. Look me up, cocksucker. Look me the fuck up. I'm known for that kind of shit.
Does he listen back to himself? Maybe he doesn't hear what he sounds like.
I enjoy listening to Michael, but don't act like you don't do that shit.
You never do that. Yeah.
You do. That's your whole shtick.
You've been doing it for years right here on the air.
Yeah. Well, I guess Rapaport's being called a rat fuck and stuff because, he ratted this guy out.
That's why he's apologizing?
I don't know what's going on. Well, maybe he'll call him. Maybe he won't. Maybe you don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, for the first time, he's not right there on the phone.
Gary,
No, I haven't spoken to him, but here's a funny thing. So, of course, as soon as you started doing this rap, I texted him, and Jason and I have reached out to him several times. Hey, Howard's talking about you. The funny thing is, if he felt he were in the right, he'd be up and on the phone. I think he turned his phone off, and he just wants to be left alone at this point.
What do you think's going on with Michael? Seriously. I mean, he talks more shit than anybody I know, and then he's saying he doesn't talk shit. Well, I don't understand what he's talking about.
I don't know what this relationship is, even with Kevin Durant. He says that he doesn't have a friendship with him. How do they direct message each other? Why would this guy even be bothering with him? I
read one report where it says Durant and Michael Rapaport have a business relationship together as well. So I don't know what the fuck is going on. I was hoping
they made a video together. There's like a video where they're either in Durant's living room or Rapaport's living room or someone's living room, and they're like fucking with each other. But Michael, this is how Michael lives. So Michael thinks that everybody shit talks the way he does. And he would always get irritated if you didn't do it, then would you? You're not a fucking man. This is how men talk. Now he's gone over the line, and I think he realizes he's fucked up, and I don't think he knows what to do.
But, he's also giving the appearance, quite frankly, and this is what I would say to him, that he can dish it out, but he can't take it. Now, I happen to know about me. I'm talking about me. I can dish it out beautifully. I can't take any criticism. I don't like it. I'm honest about it. But Michael thinks he can take criticism, but he really kind of can't.
Well, so I'll tell you, the herpes shirt, right? When that whole thing first happened, I didn't even know he was suing the guy. And he came into the wrap-up show, and I said, I bought one of the shirts, and he got genuinely angry, like off the air. He's like, that's not fucking funny. I'm suing that guy. I'm like, okay, I didn't know. And then he's like, don't make fun of the herpes. I won't talk about that stuff. Don't goof on me being a bad actor because it's bad for the lawsuit. So I'm like, okay, so he does have some rules.
So wait a second. So when he's calling you a filthy monkey and saying he's going to shit in your neck and
and
spit
spit
in your
on your glasses.
No,
and
the
Yeah,
best
right.
one. I got to tell you, the best one was he left me a voicemail once. It was a Sunday night after fantasy football, and it was weird because I turned around and looked for a second. I'm right outside your window. I have duct tape. I'm going to duct tape you, pull your pants down, and fuck you in the ass. And I was like, he could be out there.
Yeah. So, but my point is, if he's going to say that stuff, he's going to then turn around and get offended by someone calling him a cocksucker or something. I mean, what is that?
He made the whole thing is like, listen, this isn't funny. This is about my career and this is about money.
Yeah, but wait a second. So he said to you, certain things are off limits, Gary. But then when you say to him, certain things are off limits, he just says, fuck you. That's not the way we fight.
You know what? I don't even bother saying certain things are off limits because he would never listen.
Right.
He wouldn't listen if I said that. In fact, if I told him what was off limits, now he knows where to go on me. So I don't even say anything.
I know you were particularly upset about Rapaport's last 2 attacks on you. What specifically got you?
That they were completely from out of left field, that they were vicious, and they just seemed like, it really did seem like somebody who needed attention, like he'd called the show and hadn't been on the show enough, and it was the only way he knew to get on, but they weren't based on anything. You know what I mean? Like we hadn't had a conversation, hadn't done anything wrong. They were like sucker punches.
Well, you said your confusion with Michael is that you'll actually go out to lunch with him and stuff and think you're really close friends.
No. I don't think we're close friends, but I do think we're friendly, and we do go out to lunch, and there is a civility. In other words, when we're at lunch, we go to the same place every time I go to LA. We go to Sugarfish, right? Sushi place that he loves. And, we sit down, and he's Michael, but like it's a human conversation. I'll ask about my kids. I'll ask about his kids. I'll ask him how the show Atypical is going. It's not like what you hear on the air. So then I get lulled into believing that, like, okay, there's a nice guy in there. Then I turn around and he calls the show and he's like, I'm a fucking monkey. I should fucking die. And I was like, where's this coming from?
Because what I read during these multiple things, Michael's all upset about Barstool putting a herpy on his face. And I could understand why. I understand. But he had photoshopped the owner of Barstool butt fucking, it was him butt fucking the Barstool owner.
Yeah. Okay.
They responded with the herpes t-shirt and then he sued.
Well,
so why
he couldn't make a t-shirt out of his.
Yeah. Well, that's why the judge was like, fuck you. I mean, you're busy butt fucking the owner. Why are you not upset about that?
His whole rap on the herpes thing was, hey, that's not funny. I might lose work over this. Like, that's just not funny. Like, people might believe that. I believe that I might not be able to get work.
Yeah, but that doesn't work that way.
You can't unleash a full frontal attack on somebody and not expect blowback.
Yeah.
Sorry. So somebody just put up a picture, Howard. They should show it to you. Michael did have a thing on his face. That now I'm pretty sure it wasn't
This is
herpes,
a real picture.
There's a basis in reality. He had this thing. It's like a twin. It's like a twin on his fucking. Right?
Maybe he had acne.
You got a second head, huh?
It's more
like
than
a
acne.
pimple. Let me see.
Jason, can you put it up? It'll take a second, but it's when you see
give me
it,
1
you
second.
won't
I'm just getting it. Hold on. Okay.
Oh,
It's a pimple. It's not a herpes.
yeah, but
size of
that's
that thing.
big.
It's
It
like he
doesn't look like
squeezed it.
herpes. Yeah.
Right. But the point is, whatever that fucking thing is, if they put a picture of that up, you can't, I mean, you're not going to win the lawsuit.
That's not the picture they put up. They did it.
Right.
The picture of him.
I know it was a cartoon. Yeah, I saw it. I saw it in the paper. I didn't know. I wasn't aware of any of this, but I'll tell you what, I'd be pissed if a guy put up my direct messages when we're sitting and talking shit to one another.
Yeah.
And then he released them. So I think that's why.
And he doesn't put his side of the conversation up.
No, I think he did. Didn't he, Gary? I don't know what
the guy
I don't know enough about
was
it.
saying that he took his down and only left Kevin Durant's up.
Yeah. Well, I don't really understand the full impact of this thing, but I know if Mike ain't calling it, he ain't happy about it. Because I am sure people are pissed that he put up, Kevin Durant is a much beloved human being. And one hell of a fucking basketball player. Am I right on that, Gary? You know more
amazing
about it.
He's an amazing basketball player. He's probably maybe the second best guy in the league.
Right. Who's the best guy?
I think Steph Curry is, but some people might say LeBron.
Yeah, I talk to kids who worship basketball players. It's either Durant, Steph Curry. I hear
LeBron. You hear
LeBron. I hear. Yeah, that's it. Those are the guys.
But I'm really shocked that he would do something that impacts a guy's career this much.
Yeah, and I don't know that he thought it all the way through, Michael. If I had him on the phone, I'd say you probably caught by surprise how big an impact this thing had. But he didn't think it through. You don't want to fuck somebody up like that. There is a bro code.
We kind of went through this with him on the show, Howard, once before. We used to have Matthew Berry on the show, right, who works for ESPN, which is owned by Disney. And Michael had the same fight with him that he would have with me. I'm going to rape you. I'm going to fuck you in the ass, all that kind of stuff. And Rapaport and Barry was like, dude, like, I can't respond. I work for Disney. I can't respond to you. In fact, they're not even happy that I'm even involved in this. Could you just tone it down? And Michael's like, no, fuck you. This is what men do. Fucking, man up.
So in other words, you mean, so Barry was saying, hey, this could affect my job and I might lose work. Yes. And Michael was like, fuck you.
That's right.
Right.
Except when it's his work.
That's a different story. Well, listen, what Michael does is way more important. Actually, it is.
It is?
Yeah, he's acting. Acting is most important. Michael Rapaport's on the phone. Then remind me to get to Oprah's.
Okay.
Mike.
Yo.
Dude, you are in a ton of shit. Well, there was more Michael. There was more Michael. Let me just say, there was more Michael Rapaport news this past weekend than I've ever seen anywhere. It's like you were the news.
Pretty crazy, to be honest with you. Now, let me just contextualize. I just have to contextualize the phone call because I literally just woke up, so I haven't been listening to the show today yet. Okay. So I don't know what's been discussed or not discussed. So anyway, go ahead.
I can tell you.
Where? Ask me a question. Interview me like I'm Eric Andre.
Okay. First of all, like you're Eric Andre? All right. Did you ever get anally raped by a gorilla?
I was describing that scene to someone, and they were laughing so hard. Like, you've got to do this
shit
movie.
Was funny. Really funny. Anyway, go ahead.
Michael,
sorry, I'm literally just waking
Michael,
up.
here's what I know. I explained it the best I could. First of all, you lost. I said to Robin, you lost the T-shirt herpes case, which I knew you'd lose. If you'd asked me, I would have told you would have lost that because you go back. Larry Flint was sued for similar shit with the religious guy, whatever his name was. The laws are very clear on this kind of parody. I knew you would have lost.
Well, just to be clear, and I don't want to go. First of all, our friend Greg. Our friend Greg, who's friends with Cuz. You call him Cuz. Our friend Greg.
Of course.
Okay, so who loves having his name mentioned on the radio? Him. Yes. He. I'm not discussing this because number one, that case is like probably I think there's 16 tiers of it. And as far as the defamation, that part will be appealed. But there's literally 16. We're going to trial. That's one of the things that in all the breakdown of that somehow got lost. We are going to trial. So that part of it got thrown out. But that was the smaller part. And I know that defamation is a hard thing to prove. But it was beyond just what you mentioned. It was things that were... beating women. This is why the defamation came up. Accused of being someone who beats women, accused of all these other things. So that's what inspired the defamation. But more importantly and more expensive is a business part because it was a. I don't want to say anything that could sort of screw this case up, but it could.
All right. So in other words, what you're saying is you could be.
We're going to trial about the business aspect of it. That's happening.
In other words, they fired you for cause, and you're saying there was no cause, that you didn't violate your contract.
And beyond. And let's say and beyond.
All right. Okay, so you're saying there's more to the case, and the part that they threw out of court was a small part of it, that there's a lot more issues to be decided.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Then I said, I found it shocking, bro code stuff, that you would release a private direct message to you from Kevin Durant. Because
now, fuck the bro code. There's no bro code. Listen,
come on.
First of all, I don't know him. I don't like. Let me just break the short history down. We're not friends. I met him once. Okay. You know, he reached out to me because I do a thing on social media that people love. I think it's fantastic. You probably would love it too. It's fucking funny. It's called the Shame Game. In the last 5 years, I get DMs from strangers. Fuck you, you Jew, K-word, you N-word loving this. I'll get DMs like that. I'm going to find you. I'm going to kick your ass. Your wife should get this. Your wife should get that. When I see you, so we'll take the DMs, we'll post them, and then we'll sort of snap on them. We'll roast them. People love it. It's called the Shame Game. So you know, someone will say something vile, and we put it up. Durant actually reached out to me because he loved the Shame Game. He wanted to do the Shame Game. We went to San Francisco. I met him for about an hour and a half. We did the Shame Game. He loved the Shame Game. We actually did one. It's online. We talked about doing some business together. We never did it. Right. So that's the context of me knowing Durant. He reached out to me as a fan. I met him as a fan in the beginning of the basketball season this year, and that was it. I've never seen him again. I've never spoken to him again. I don't have his personal phone number. We're not boys. Like, I know everybody in the fantasy football league better than I know Durant, and I don't know everybody in the fantasy football league that good. You know,
but
I know.
Why would you, of all people, why would you be offended by what Kevin Durant direct messaged you? Because I played a clip. You do the same stuff. You know that. You call Gary a gorilla.
Not the friend. And just breaking the show, breaking the fourth wall of the show. You know, like me and Bowie sometimes. We push it too far, and I know I pissed him off, and he might say things that I don't like. But at the end of the day, I could look at him and I could talk to him like a person, and I consider him a quote unquote friend or somebody I'm friendly with, someone who I have normal conversations with. I don't know this person, so when you say to me, when I didn't say anything that warrants it, when I see you, I'm going to spit in your face. 3 different times, and then on a random Tuesday you say, when I see you, I'm going to spit in your face, something, your wife. He caught me on a day where I was, number 1, working, number 2, I'm moving, number 3, I was dealing with all the stuff of that, the sort of the disappointment and frustration of the case. And when you hit me on a Tuesday morning and say, when I see you, I'm going to spit in your face, something, anything about my wife other than your wife is gorgeous, your wife is fucking talented, God bless your beautiful wife. I didn't look at him as a basketball player. I didn't look at him as Durant. I looked at him as some cocksucker in my DMs threatening me and mentioning my wife, and boom, I put it up there. If I had known, to be honest, that it was going to turn into this 5-day debate, discussing this, discussing that, who's right, who's wrong, turning into is this racial? Is this homophobic? It's on CNN. It's in the fucking United. I never would have done it. So, in all honesty, I wish I hadn't done it. But at that moment, he was just a cocksucker talking, threatening me and mentioning my wife in the in DMs. It wasn't the context of things on the show. Like I said, we're not friends. I don't say, hey, Bowie, when I speak to you, when I see you, I'm going to spit in your face. And Bowie goes, oh, that's funny. Or not even Bowie, like a real friend of mine. I don't call him
let
Greg
me play you. Let me tell you. There's more details to this case than the OJ trial. So let me play you what I played earlier this morning as an example of you doing some shit talking. I mixed it in with your Twitter rant. All right, listen to this and then comment on it. Tell me what you think.
I don't consider him a friend. The way he was talking to me is not like a person who was a friend.
We gotta listen to this fucking yuck mouth, you dumb, filthy, disgusting, constipated, masturbating fucking gorilla. You fucking blistered fucking pig.
I don't speak to friends like that. I don't banter with friends telling them, yo, when I see you, I'm going to spit in your face.
And what happened today? I stuffed that fucking asshole. I opened that fucking balloon knot. That's me spitting on it. You fuck. I spit on your glasses. Now your glasses have spit on them. You fuck.
That's not the way I banter. That's not the way I bullshit. That's not the way, that's not locker room talk. Those are threats.
You don't want to fucking answer my fucking phone calls. I know where you live. Like when you're out walking your dog, I could walk my fucking dog in the same neighborhood. Ain't no fucking rules against that. Look me up, cocksucker. Look me the fuck up. I'm known for that kind of shit.
So, what I'm saying is, I always enjoy your trash talking, but you
Is
trash
that me?
talk.
Who
Yes,
was that
that's
person
you.
saying all that? That was
That's
me.
you.
You sure that was me?
That was you.
Interesting.
I promise. I
I
promise
don't
that was
recall
you.
that. I don't recall that.
That's like Trump. Trump never recalls it. That was the stuff you said to JD and Gary during the football league
Fantasy
or whatever.
football, yeah.
Yeah.
Really, I don't
Yes.
remember any of that. But maybe it didn't quite sound like me. But I don't know. Anyway,
I promise it was you.
I understand. You're sure that? They're sure of that? Okay.
I'm sure of it. But,
I'm not sure. Okay.
Listen, I don't know what's going on here, but this guy Kevin Durant now you got to pay $50,000 to the NBA. Granted, he's a rich guy, he can afford it, but would you ever say to him, "Hey, allow me to pay this. I got you into trouble. I'm sorry."
Fuck no.
You will not.
No.
You don't feel bad about anything that's happening to him.
No. I feel bad that, like I said, I feel bad that the whole situation turned into this, like you were saying at the beginning, this extended long thing. But I'll be fine. There's been ramifications that I'll keep to myself on my end. I know you guys don't discuss sports. Unfortunately, he has a history of that sort of stuff, social media stuff, and like I said, at the moment, you talk about bro code and all that stuff. You don't mention someone's wife. You don't know my wife. I don't know you, and we're not friends. It's not the context of some of the alleged messages you just put out about you're saying that somebody that sort of sounds like me.
Do you regret anything you said about Gary in the past in light of this?
No.
Do you regret?
I do not regret anything I said about that fucking gorilla.
Do you regret anything that you ever said about JD that you're going to go look for him?
JD, I do not regret anything I said about that stuttering, stammering, four-eyed freak. No, I do not.
And do you... Wait, so here's Gary. Go ahead, Gary. What do you want to say?
I'm just trying to figure out why the stuff he's saying about me is supposed to be funny to me. I know why it's funny to him, but why I'm just supposed to take it and act like it's like we're all bros. And I know we've been to lunch together, Michael, but I don't love it. And the other thing I want to ask you about is, like, when we had Matthew Berry in the league and he said, "Hey, can you lay off of me because I can't do this stuff. It's hurting my career." And then you and I had a conversation during a commercial at the wrap-up show, and you said the same thing to me. Said, "Hey, don't talk about this because it's going to hurt my lawsuit." And I respected it. But so how come it doesn't go both ways for you?
Good question.
Wait, what do you? But a lawsuit is
what Gary
one
is
thing,
saying,
and we
Michael.
didn't talk about it.
No,
hold on,
That his
Michael.
feelings are hurt.
Hold on. A lawsuit is one thing, but Matthew Berry said, "You're hurting my career." And when you said to me, "Lay off because of the lawsuit," you said that what was going on was hurting your career. So you had no respect for Matthew Berry's career, but you wanted me to have respect for your career.
That's not true. That's not true about Matthew, and that's just not true. That's just not true. 100%.
Jason would say differently.
I think the league took on a life of its own, and it wasn't just me. There were other people in the league that were fucking with Matthew because it was funny and it was part of the league. It wasn't just me. I'm not going to say.
But you're missing the point, Mike. Mike, you're missing the point. If you go to Gary and say, Gary, certain things are off limits on the air because it'll affect my career. When Matthew Berry came to you and said, hey, Mike, I work for Disney. I can't get into this shit. No, he said, you turned to Gary and said, fuck Matt Berry. I'm going to fucking say whatever I want. I didn't. Which is, which is fair, but you can't have it both ways.
Let's ask the other people in the league if they recall specifically that. Because there's other people in the league. Who's in the league? Who's in the league, Bowie? And also, just see, this is the fourth wall that I don't want to break with Bowie. There's Bowie, and there's Gary Dell'Abate. I mean, we know this. What do we get? Like our feelings hurt with? Well, that's because he's confused, and infected animals, they walk around confused. So he's confused.
So what's going to happen now? Are you going to change your behavior at all as because of what happened with Kevin Durant, or are you going to, are you banned to going to any Nets games? By the way.
Well, no, that hasn't been. I mean, I don't think the NBA will be giving. I've had things with the NBA since I brought a broom, actually in support of Kevin Durant and his Warriors. I've had things with the NBA since I brought a broom to Game 3 of the NBA Finals in, I think it was 2017. I was there actually doing work with the NBA, but as a fan, I brought a broom because I thought they were going to sweep the Cleveland Cavaliers, and that didn't go over well with.
Would you feel uncomfortable going to a Nets game now because Kevin is going to be there and his fans are going to be there, and it's going to be weird?
No.
You will still
are you offering me courtside seats? Are you offering me courtside seats?
I'm not offering you anything, but I know you do get.
But we'd like
seats.
to see that.
Yeah, I'd like to see you show
up. Collection.
Yeah,
but there's not like an official ban and from the NBA. But I haven't been like for years and years and years and years and years, like 20 years of being an actor. Not just the Knicks. Like if I was in Minnesota. I could call a hookup from the NBA, but they told me we can't do that. Like a friend of mine who works for them said, we can't do that, and you know why? And that was because of the broom. So after that, and because I do the stuff on the sports shows, it's a little bit more liberating because I could be a more stricter analysis when I talk about basketball. Not that I go on there and act like a Marv Albert. I kind of like I'm going on the show today later on with Skip and Shannon. And I talk shit about basketball, say the Knicks this, Dolan that, the whole Charles Oakley thing. The Charles Oakley thing, I don't want to go down our sports rabbit hole. Defending Charles Oakley about what happened at the Garden got me my courtside seats at the Garden taken away. Because I said Dolan was like a little gnome, and he looks like a hobbit. And I don't know why the owner of the Knicks, dyes his beard and such like that.
So... people are going to accuse you, Mike, of being able to dish it out but not take it. That's the problem that you're going to run into. They say you can't.
That's all right.
They say you can't.
Right. I take it on
he can take it, but he'll take your DMs and he'll post them.
Right.
Yeah, right, Michael. Do you regret giving? Like those were private messages. So if somebody posted your private messages that were embarrassing to you and might get you in trouble with work, you'd be bummed, right? You'd be pissed off.
I would be bummed, but they're not text messages. It's not a FaceTime call. Like I said, we're not friends. And like I said, I do it all the time. You've seen me do it. The other guys from the show have seen me do it. When you say crazy, if you threaten me, your shit's going on. There's stuff on my DMs from this week. This week, but there's every week there is. I get called, especially with the political stuff, which I never really discussed on the show. But after, like I was talking, the anti-Trump stuff, you K-word this, you N-word loving that, all sorts.
Right.
I've been putting him up for years. So at that moment, he was just a guy like, why are you hitting me on a Tuesday? You're going to spit on me? That's not trash talking.
Do you secretly love, Michael? You love attention and you love mixing it up. Are you actually loving this, or were you nervous over the weekend?
No.
Are you loving the attention?
I'll be honest, Howard. and like I said, when I call on the show, when I talk on the show, it's an exaggerated version of me. But I'll be totally honest with you. This is a learning experience for me. My wife, out of all the people, this is probably the biggest sort of, not fight, the most she's ever been mad at me, and that really bothered me. And like I said, I don't mind attention, and at times I don't mind negative attention, but when it goes beyond disagreeing with what I'm saying or stuff on this show or just general sort of, fun banter or even the politics, I don't like it. So, no, I don't like this sort of attention. My family doesn't like it. My mother didn't like it. And I do regret it. But, you talk a lot about living, learning, changing, and taking responsibility for things that you've done on the air, things that you do as performance. And for me, the character that I play when I call and talk about having intimacy with Baba Booey, that's not the person who my wife lays down with. That's not who you speak to in real life.
But by the way, if I can say something, I don't think that Kevin Durant said anything really bad about your wife. I think he said your wife doesn't look at you with, your bitch ass or whatever it was, like with any respect. She doesn't
respect you, yeah.
Right, she doesn't respect you, but he didn't say anything negative about your wife.
There's things that it was all encompassed. If you say to me on a random Tuesday, I can't wait to see you, I'm going to spit in your face. We're not, like I said, he was just a motherfucker in my DMs. It wasn't like, oh, I'm scared of Kevin Durant. Out of all the professional athletes that I would not fight, he's probably the only one that I would fight. Not that I want to fight anybody. I'm 51 years old.
Do you think you could beat up Kevin Durant?
I'm just saying that I wasn't physically afraid of him or anybody. Like, I wasn't physically afraid of him.
By the way, here's the exact quote. Your wife mad as fuck because you wasting that little bit of money on lawyers because you can't take a joke. Ha, ha, ha. Your wife doesn't respect your bitch ass. He didn't say anything bad about your wife. He did.
Don't mention my wife. Period.
Wow.
Who knows that there's the line?
Well, hold on a second. I want to ask you a question. Hold on, Michael. Hold on. Don't mention your wife.
Wait, hold on. You guys said there's bro code. That's bro code.
Well, listen to Gary. Go ahead.
So when you say, I guess you're talking to Bowie, not to Gary, and you say, I don't know how that woman fucks that gorilla and lets that gorilla fucking come inside her or whatever, that's just us being pals?
I don't think I ever said that. Listen, Gorilla, if you're trying to...
Mike, wait a second. And you used to trash Brent's wife all the time on the air. You are a guy who does trash people's wives. Way worse than what Kevin said. You have trashed Brent's wife on the air. You've trashed Gary's wife. Not in the sense that, you in a similar way, how do these women have sex with this guy, blah, 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 blah.
Let's not even say he's trashed my wife, but he's mentioned her. That you can't deny, Michael.
And he's saying no mentions.
And you're saying no mentions.
That's the bro code.
That's right. You got to admit. You're saying that's the line. You can't mention wives.
But you mentioned my wife.
It was it was the threats that got us. I mean, I don't know what you want or what you guys are fishing for. You just mentioned Brent for the first time since he left the show.
Yeah.
Which is funny that you're mentioning it now. But what am I supposed to do
about it?
What's funny about it? I'm just saying, Michael, you can't say that.
I've already had a situation.
You've avoided the question. It's because it's a very simple question. It's about hypocrisy. If wives are off the table, why is it cool when you mention my wife? That's the question.
Gorilla, if I say Gary, your wife Mary, that anything that's genuine, it's one thing. If you're offended by what I said about being Baba Booey in the context of the show, don't be Baba Booey in the context of the show because you sound like a fucking bitch right now.
You still haven't answered the question. You literally are deflecting the question. If there's a code that says don't mention wives, then why is it cool when you mention my wife? Just answer that.
I mentioned in regards to the character, Baba Booey. If you can't separate Baba Booey, if you can't separate the character Baba Booey from Gary Dell'Abate, then you're dumber than I thought.
But
what
Kevin
character
Durant
are you playing, Michael? Because your character has your name.
The character he plays is the pasty cum guzzling guy that Kevin Durant said he is.
Now, but wait a second. But Gary never sued you, Michael. You know, he accepts what you say.
Gary,
he's a good sport. Gary is a good sport.
Gary, since you want to play games.
Not a game. It's
remember
a question.
When you met a friend of mine? No, but let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Gary, since you want to play games. Remember when you met a friend of mine in Los Angeles and you said to him, and you know who I'm talking about, a guy named Scott. And he was like, oh, I know Mike. And you're like, I know Mike. And you said to him, why doesn't Mike mention that he has a black wife? That would be so good for his street cred. Why doesn't he talk about his black wife more? What did you mean by that question?
I actually didn't say that. That's not what I said.
Didn't say that?
I said that Michael thinks because he has a black wife that he can say that he thinks he's black and he thinks he can say all this racist shit.
I said that. Because you said to him, because Michael has a black wife,
Michael.
What world is going on?
Michael, what is going on right now?
No, wait, hold on, Robin. Don't say what in the world is going on.
No, I don't know anything about this.
No, hold on. I called in because I consider myself a friend of the show.
You are.
And this motherfucker's trying to get stupid. So, Gary, why don't you repeat what you just said? That I think. What does it mean to think you're black,
hold on,
Gary?
Michael, why don't you just... why are you deflecting?
Let's stay right here. What does it mean to think you're black?
I'll answer your question after you answer my question.
What's your question?
My question's first. Why is if there's a bro code about not talking about wives, then why is it cool that you talk about my wife? If that's your code.
I don't talk about... Anytime I talk about your wife, it's in a complimentary way. And anytime I talk about your wife, it's in the character of Baba.
But wives are off the table. Wives are off the table according to bro code.
I never talked about your wife. And then when I talk about
you have.
I just answered the question.
Yes, you have. You said, I don't know how that woman fucks him. You've said it a million times. Don't make us go back and get the audio.
Baba Booey. And you never even got upset about that because you know it's in the context of Baba Booey.
No,
now, why don't you
I don't talk.
What it means
I would never. Hold on. I would never talk about. I would never tell you what bothers me because that would only make you say it more. That's why I never said anything before now.
You want to play games, Gary. Explain what you just said about the race stuff. You want to play games? You want to fucking play games? You Long Island racist fuck? Play games. Answer what you just said.
Wait a second now. Now you're calling Gary racist? Stop it. Stop it, you guys.
He is a rat in a corner. He is a rat in a corner.
Gary.
What does it mean to think you're black? Repeat what.
Wait a second.
Since you guys
wait
a
second.
Say you think we're black.
What he just said.
Go ahead, Gary. You answer the question.
I didn't say you think you're black. I said you think that because you're married to somebody who's African American, you think you can say whatever you want and not come across as racist. Because there are some things you say that are questionable, and there are some things that you've posted that are crazy questionable. You posted this. There's a video that you put out a couple of years ago of this young black girl dancing, and her eyes were bugged out, and the whole thing just reeked of this weird racist bullshit. And I think sometimes you feel...
do we have to go down this path? Can't we talk about the issues? Well, okay. Let's get on topic. I'm trying to find out from Michael if he is banned by the NBA, and I'm trying to find out from Michael if he's going to change any of his behaviors in light of the brouhaha that his actions have caused. That's what I'm trying to find out.
In regard to answer your question, there's no official ban from the NBA, and in regards to social media, I will be a lot more careful, and when I deal on social media.
Will you apologize to Kevin Durant at all, or are you taking a no apologies tact?
I don't speak to him. I don't know how to get in touch with him to apologize. I think that the video that you put out, the video that you guys took a piece from, articulated how I feel. I think I've articulated how I feel on this show, and you have to learn from your mistakes. And like I said, I wish the whole thing hadn't turned into a 4 or 5 day sex call.
Moving forward, Michael, will you continue to threaten to butt rape Gary?
Baba Booey?
Yeah.
You mean Baba
or
Booey?
Gary? Yeah,
yes.
Baba Booey or Gary.
Baba Booey. Oh, only Baba Booey.
I see.
Yes, because I know the difference.
If you don't know the difference, then I don't know what to tell you. Your whole life is Baba Booey. Your book is called They Call Me Baba Booey. You don't know the difference? You don't know the difference between
and JD,
who
do you have
are.
a question? JD, what are you saying in light of what's happened?
Just the only thing, Michael hasn't said anything but complimentary things about my wife, thank God. But he says he can take it, but there are times where he has said gay stuff to me. He's gonna spit in my knot, stuff like that. And I've come back at him. No. And I've come back at him. I've come back at him with gay stuff myself, take out that big cock or whatever, and he'll tell me to stop. No, that's not cool, man. That's not cool. So,
all right, Michael, will you admit
only take so much?
You sent the group, JD. You sent on the group message a porno video, and everybody said don't do that. You sent a gay porno clip, and
Michael,
everybody
are you still
said,
claiming?
That's not cool.
Michael, are you still claiming that you can take it? Even though you dish it out, even though some people like JD and even Gary are saying Michael can't take it. He comes to you privately and says, "Don't mention this, don't mention that." Or are you saying you can take it? No, don't mention
one thing, a lawsuit. I only ever said don't mention a lawsuit, which is okay.
Well, there were two things. But they were both tied to the lawsuit. The first was don't goof on the herpes thing, which we let it go. And the other
is
thing
it
was
herpes, Michael, or was that just a pimple on your face? What is that? I think it's a pimple.
Wait, what is that?
What is that thing that they're goofing on your face? What was that? That was taken from an actual picture?
The short version is this. I have a thing called. See, this is why on the show I only. It's not me. It's an exaggerated version.
Right.
I have a condition. I have a disease called ulcerative colitis. It's basically. It's an autoimmune disease that I've had since I'm a teenager. Because of this medicine, this is boring, but because of this medicine that I was taking called Humira, it was causing my immune system to deplete, and it was essentially an ingrown hair that got infected. And I got tested from this doctor. I got tested for that doctor. Is it cancer? Is it? They didn't know what the fuck it was, and it wouldn't go away because I was on this medicine because my body wouldn't heal itself. That's what it was. I actually was on the show at one point when I had it on the Rapaport.
I believe you. I believe you, by the way.
Yes.
Because I know a guy who has something similar to that. He gets these it's like a ingrown hair, and he gets these things.
Right. Well, I looked at it and I thought melanoma. That's what it looked like to me.
No, it was just, and I went to this dermatologist and that doctor, and they were concerned. They didn't know if it was cancer. And essentially that medicine that I took has given me lung issues. So it was a real thing. It was a serious thing. So, that's what it was.
All right. Fair enough. Now, Gary, are you friends with Michael? And is Michael friends with you?
It seems like they have some undelivered communications. They need to sit and talk about something.
Here's the thing. I don't really need to sit and talk with Michael. He comes on the wrap-up show. He comes on this show. But I think I don't know. I don't want to be in the Michael Rapaport business. How's that? I don't want to be at odds with him. I don't want to be friends with him. I just want to be left alone.
I see. And Michael, what is your stance on Gary now in light of everything that's happened to you?
No more lunches?
Well, as a fan of the show, and I always say when I speak in regards to this show, as a fan of the show, when I hear him humiliate you when you're announcing the return, like he did when he humiliated you and took away your shine.
The backhanded bullshit.
Excuse me, you won't let me talk. Excuse me, Abe. When
All
I
we
hear
do
him
is let you talk.
When I hear him humiliate you, I will call in and defend you because I am a fan of the Howard Stern show.
Thank you.
When I hear him talk about not being able to shit and then shitting softballs, I will call in because sometimes I've spit-take coffee and those sorts of things, and I will continue to do that to Baba Booey, Infected Ape, Gorilla Tooth, Fafa Flunky, Fofo. So that will continue.
All right. Well, it seems to me that Michael
I would say
is
this,
saying,
Howard.
yeah.
For a working actor, you never seem to be working. You have limitless time to fight with people. When do you fucking work?
That I'm working on season 4 of Atypical right now. I'm coming to New York, and I'm working on another show with somebody that comes on your show as a guest who's been interviewed multiple times. I've never not stopped working. That's not an area that you could touch, mention, laugh at, befuddle, or anything. I'm so fucking dope, Gorilla, that I could be myself and I could be myself and continue working and be considered one of the best actors of my generation and still ask you about those big fucking brown teeth.
Are you such a good actor? Are you such a good actor that you could even pull like an Army Hammer and threaten to eat people and you would still get work?
No, definitely not. For sure.
Right.
Definitely not.
King of All Blacks has one last question for you, Michael. I'll put him through because he says it's important. Go ahead, King. What do you want to ask Michael Rapaport?
Yeah, 2 things. I didn't like that shot you took at Howard a little while ago. Do you remember that? What you said a little while ago?
You liked it or you didn't like it?
He did not like it.
You did not. What?
I didn't like it.
You didn't like the shot. All right. Okay.
What was the shot?
No, Michael Rapaport.
I don't even know. What is the shot?
I know what the shot was.
What was it?
He likes to do these things
Let
under
him
the radar.
say the shot. Say the shot.
When you accuse Howard of you haven't.
What are you, a fucking interpreter, Gorilla? Gorilla, are you an interpreter? What's the shot?
Why don't you talk to Kevin Durant like that, pussy?
What's the shot?
What is the shot was? That I didn't talk about Brent leaving the show. Is that it?
Your name should be called the only black person that calls into the show.
Hey Howard,
I don't think that was a shot. I mean, I'm not. I'm not offended by that.
It was.
Well, maybe it was meant as one, but I'm not offended.
You're not offended, but it was meant as a shot.
I see.
Yes. And I tell you why.
All right, King, what is your question for Michael? What is it? Never mind me. What is your question for Michael?
First of all, yeah, because I want to tell him that's his show. He do what he want to do. So who are you? You don't tell somebody how to run their show. If somebody leave his show, he don't got to fucking talk about them. Fuck them. But what I'm saying to you is you one of them white guys. You're one of those white guys that marry a black girl, and now you jealous of all black dudes. That's why you think that she wants a black.
I didn't even know any of that. So Michael married a black
I told
woman.
You that was out of left field to me. I didn't know.
I didn't know
this.
Michael, you're with a black woman. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. What made you do that?
What's wrong with that?
What made you
Why
do
can't
that?
he do that? What do you mean? What made him do that?
Weird.
He fell in love with somebody.
It's weird. But it's
weird that Michael married a black woman.
It's weird isn't it, Howard? Isn't it weird when you see a black dude with a white girl or a black dude with a white? It looks weird.
It's not. By the way, Michael, he's accused you of being jealous of black dudes. Are you jealous of black dudes?
No.
Yeah. See.
No.
See. What he said?
Come on, enough of you. Ridiculous.
Oh my God! The
King of all
theories.
black, aka the only black guy that calls in.
Not true.
That is
not true.
Yeah.
Not true, Michael. I have to call you on that one. So, Michael,
Okay,
you.
I was wrong about that.
Yeah. All right. Ralph wants to weigh in real quick. Go ahead, Ralph.
What do you make of this, Ralph?
Yeah. What do you make
All
of
right,
this?
here's what I think. I love this. All these fucking idiots throwing imaginary lines, bro codes, lawsuits. Rappaport's an idiot. Durant's an idiot. Dave Portnoy from Barstool, he's totally an idiot. I mean, there's serious issues in the world, man. And you guys are arguing over your fucking herpes sore.
Oh, be quiet. People argue. What's the matter with you?
But they argue mostly over bullshit.
Well, Michael's saying
that
there's
makes a
more to
great
this
show.
lawsuit. He thinks there's more to the lawsuit
there's
than
tons
just the
more.
herpes. It's
But how did it all
tons more. I already
start?
explained what it is.
Why is this happening? You used to be in business with those guys. And then
my
what
understanding, Michael, my understanding was when you were on Barstool, you said, "Hey, people who call themselves stoolies are idiots," which I don't think is so outrageous. Is that why they fired you?
There's To be honest with you, listen, I've been so open and I'm always, talk a lot. I'm not talking about any lawsuits, period.
Okay.
You understand that. So that's not
understand.
happening.
Okay. If you got an active lawsuit, you don't want to fuck it up.
Well,
All right.
I would stake my reputation on it started from something stupid.
You know what, Howard? When it's all done, I'll explain it all, and it could bore the listeners to tears. But it's just a lawsuit, and it's a lawsuit regarding business, and it's going to trial. That's all I've said about it since since it started. That's what my attorneys told me to do. That's what actually the judge said to do. And have you ever been in a court and where a judge threatens to put you in contempt of court because
you don't want that. You don't want that. You don't want that. Hey, do you have any more of these? But you sold a T-shirt that was you fucking the head of Barstool in the ass. Is that correct?
No. That's
okay.
Somebody giving you wrong information.
Gotcha. All right, Michael. I appreciate you calling in and discussing this with us. It was intense. You and Gary
they uncovered some feelings that I didn't know existed.
There's a lot of feelings.
Yeah, well,
people are saying you even took a shot at me. I took no offense, but okay, fair enough.
What was the shot I took at you? What was the alleged shot at you?
Because you mentioned Brent. I wasn't offended by that.
First time Howard mentioned.
I love Brent.
No, I wasn't. Somebody, his name during this conversation came up, and I just was like, it hasn't been brought up. And
I make it a policy. I make it a policy of not bringing that kind of stuff up.
And I respect that policy when I've called in and just to say this, there's people, and I won't name names. There's people that work on the show that have asked me to possibly mention it or whatever. I don't do that. I would never.
People who work on the show.
I'm just saying. I know that when people leave the show, we don't talk about them, and I don't talk.
I don't because they're not here to talk. They're not here to answer
when
back.
I disappear, Howard will not mention me.
I won't because you won't be here to. If you're not here, then you don't exist. That's it. That's the end.
I agree. I agree,
Howard. That's the way I run my show.
And that makes sense.
If you're here, you're on. If you're here, you exist. If you're not, that's it. You don't.
So
what up, Gary?
Now you know what will happen.
It ain't my job to keep the ball rolling. Go ahead, Gary.
I do want to correct one thing. Michael is 100% correct. He did not sell a T-shirt of him butt fucking the head of Barstools. He just gave it away for free on his social media.
I see. Is that true, Michael?
Wrong again, Gorilla. You dumb fucking ape. Go in the cage. Wrong again.
You didn't post a picture. You didn't post a picture of you fucking that guy.
No, you just said that I gave it away on social media like I gave a T-shirt away.
No. I'm saying you gave the photo away. You gave it away. You posted a photo of you fucking the guy.
Oh, it was a meme. Yes, it was a meme. It was a meme, yes.
But it was not a T-shirt is what he's saying.
Okay.
Yes,
all right.
Correct.
All right. Michael, say hi to Cuz. Thank you for calling in. I was curious. I've been reading about you all weekend. I want to know what's up. And now I think I do know.
And Gorilla, just so you know, you filthy fucking animal, you just made this is one more notch in how fucking dumb you are with your big fucking brown teeth.
Well, listen, Michael, if Gary starts coming back at you with stuff, you got to be willing to take it now.
Anything he wants, he could come at me with the kitchen sink and the bananas he eats.
All right, fair enough. And no more, and no apologizing to anyone. Am I correct?
I think I sort of apologized.
Yeah.
What I said is what I said. What I said on the video is what I said, and what I said throughout this 45-minute phone call, I think has been very genuine. It's been very from my heart, and I think I articulated myself very well. And I think although my wife hates this also. I think I've articulated myself when I've been just myself extremely well, extremely classy, and as like my people like to say, like a mensch.
Yes, and Marianne from Brooklyn, who is at war with you.
Oh, she was happy to hear that you were in trouble.
Go ahead, Marianne. Take your shot at Michael. Go ahead.
Thank you, Howard. First of all, Howard, I'm a wife and a mother, and this douchebag said I had COVID last year at the height when that came out and called me a bat. All he does is pick on me on Twitter, lock her up. I'm a wife and a mother, and this guy is backpedaling. We have
What
taped
about
with
that,
him,
Michael?
And he
Are you
won't
going to
being wrong?
Michael, will you apologize to Marianne?
It's my statute of limitations.
Hold on. Let me hear what Michael has to say, Marianne. Marianne, let me hear what Michael has to say.
The thing about the COVID was before it became a real thing, I already did apologize.
It was a real thing. I'll pull the tape. Get Danny.
All right, Marianne,
don't just pull the tape. Pull the date. It was before we all really knew what it was. I already did apologize. And as far as you being a bat, I stick to that 100%. You're a fucking bat. You have the voice of death.
Michael, you are obviously not backing down. You are going to continue to be Michael Rapaport. You have answered all the questions. You have come on the air. You have mixed it up with Baba Booey. You mixed it up with King of All Blacks. You mixed it up with me. You even mixed it up with Marianne from Brooklyn.
He tried to answer every question. I will say that.
He did that. So thank you for that, Michael. I appreciate you doing that.
Absolutely. And I got it's been way longer. This is my record call for me, 45 minutes, which I appreciate.
45 minutes.
But now I got to go to work to shoot season 4 of the Netflix show Atypical. I'm actually on my way to work now.
Congratulations on that, and wear your mask. There you go.
Hope you're not late.
I will definitely wear my mask. Wear my mask.
And I hope we haven't made you late.
Oh, no, I'm not late. I as much as I love the show, I don't get paid for this.
You're professional.
And we will.
Okay.
You are professional, and I can't wait to see what happens the next time your path crosses with Kevin Durant. I mean, it should be interesting, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I could be your +1. Maybe Beth stays home with the cats. You get a ticket. I'll be your +1 at the game.
I don't need a heart attack. All right. Michael, take care. Thank you for answering all the questions. Right. I do appreciate it. All right. There he is, the star of Netflix. The Michael Rapaport. Atypical. Woo.
Man.
Wowee. Everyone at war with everyone else.
People should just stop talking to each other, because look at what happens. Talking just gets you into trouble.
I'll quote you on that one.
At the root of every anger and every fight is people talking.
I was going to play you the Oprah audiobook, but I don't know.
I know.
I mean, maybe a little levity. Maybe, that was heavy.
Yeah, we need to lighten it up because everybody's been fighting. Even JD, who's mostly mild.
I think JD was trying to get in there, but he didn't do too well. Gary, you were
get
really...
a word in edgewise.
JD, what were you trying to say to Michael Rapaport?
I was trying to bring up the thing with the sex talk. He doesn't really take the sex talk back at him. But when Rapaport's trying to play a game with Gary, I was just like, I'm out of this. I want to get out of this.
In other words, you're saying when Rapaport, I know at one point, was threatening to butt fuck you and do all kinds of weird
Not
shit
one
to your
time,
balloon
multiple times.
What happened? You tried to get him back and he didn't take well to it?
Yeah. You say, what are you gonna wear? Stuff like that. And try to get a little dirty with them, and he doesn't. He's like, whoa, no, stop.
Really? Yeah. You use the psychology of like, okay, if you're gonna butt fuck me, what are you gonna wear? And then you freak them out.
I think both me and Richard Christie tried that strategy.
I remember Rapaport even had a song about you, I believe, at one point. He really gave it to you. Yeah, it was like "Fuck JD" was the song. If you remember.
Yo, JD Harmeyer, you stuttering, mumbling cocksucker, you. This season, I'm gonna drop a load on your fat, geeky glasses, you fuck you. Fuck JD, he's the punk bitch. I make him eat my cock like a Filet-O-Fish. No protection from my erection. Whip out my dick and jizz all over his spoon collection. Make the more and mumble motorboat in my crotch. Get on a webcam and make his girlfriend watch. I'm gonna fuck JD, that mushmouth geek. I'm gonna fuck JD, give him HPV. Who's gonna fuck JD? In fantasy. I'm gonna fuck JD. Make him drink pee. I'm gonna fuck JD. Make him bone me. Who's gonna fuck JD? Rapaport, that's me. Yeah, I'm gonna fuck Bowie.
So you called him and said, okay, if you're gonna fuck me, what are you wearing? And that threw him right off.
Yeah, I did through text message, and he was like, whoa, no, stop that. The freak.
Gary, he was not backing down at all. I thought maybe he would have apologized to you or something, but no way.
I didn't expect it. And by the way, I don't hate him, and I'm not looking to fucking bury him. But he just, I think he realizes that he has a line in his head that he thinks the whole world has, and everyone doesn't have the same line that he does. And he learned that with Kevin Durant.
You know what I thought was interesting? That he says he's a character, and that's not him when he says these things.
It is funny because, like, I was looking back at our old text messages, and we had a long thread, he and I going, you know, I don't want to give too much away. I don't want to fuck the guy over, but he was, you know, at one point he was thinking about maybe moving to the area where I live for real. And I was talking about areas, and I was recommending a real estate agent. So is that Gary talking to Michael? And then what we just heard was Rapaport talking to Bowie. And am I supposed to know the difference?
Well,
that's where I got confused, because I was like, oh, you're a character, but your character has the same name. At least if you're talking to Bowie, there's a Gary, but who is the Michael we're talking to? We never know.
Right.